Hello and welcome to Mansell Raceway on the 26th of September 2021 for Round 3 of the Two Counties Kart Club Championship. The Blue Challenge rounds are all over and done with now, so it's back to some club racing action before we head to the Grand Finals. 9 minutes plus a lap in store this afternoon as the drivers watching the final few laps of the Junior Blue race. But in the seniors, it's Anthony Cleal leading the championship, a single point ahead of Mike Bell with Russell O'Neill third. They're ahead of Kieran Quirk and Billy Thomas, with Sarita Schoen 6th, ahead of David and Taylor Waldron, Chris Underhill in 9th, and then Sylvain Bessier making up the top 10. Phil Shears 11th, ahead of David Good, even on points with Paul Alexander. They're ahead of Rob Mortimer, Steve Groves, Ron Schoen, Robin Stoddart-Stones, Kevin O'Neill, Mike Watts, and Tom Parker making up the top 20. Of course, no drop scores in effect due to the cancellation of round 1 due to the ongoing coronavirus pandemic, so every point will count from here on in. In the Blue Master standings is Anthony Cleal leading the championship ahead of Russell O'Neill and Billy Thomas. David Waldron 4th ahead of Chris Underhill, with David Good, Phil Shears and Paul Alexander even on points in 6th. They're ahead of Rob Mortimer, with Stephen Groves tied with Robin Stoddart-Stones in 10th. They're ahead of Ron Schoen, Kevin O'Neill, Mike Watts and John Hartshorn making up the top 15 in the Masters category. And in the Blue Veteran standings is Anthony Cleal leading the way, this time from David Waldron and Chris Underhill. David Good, Paul Alexander and Phil Shears tied once again. Rob Mortimer in 7th ahead of Stephen Groves and Robin Stoddart-Stones, with Ron Schoen running at the top 10 in the Veterans class. In the Blue Legends, it's Chris Underhill leading the way from David Good and Robin Stoddart-Stones, with Ron Schoen, Kevin O'Neill, Mike Watts, John Hartshorn, Adrian Helps, Mark Cook and Stuart Gray running at the class. And in the Blue Top Weights, it's Billy Thomas leading from Rob Mortimer and Phil Shears, with Ron Schoen, Mike Watts, Adrian Helps, Ben Joseph, Alan Lewis, Mark Cook and Paul Dybel in behind. In today's 3 heats already, Russell O'Neill would win Heat 1 from pole position from Sylvain Bessier, Anthony Cleal going up 11 spots into 3rd ahead of Paul Alexander and Sarita Schoen, Steve Groves in 6th ahead of Robin Stoddart-Stones, David Good, Nigel Vickery and Tom Parker. In Heat 2, it's Anthony Cleal winning from Russell O'Neill and Sylvain Bessier, with Paul Alexander going through into 4th spot ahead of Tom Parker. Rob Mortimer 6th ahead of Ron Schoen, Nigel Vickery, David Good and Kieran Quirk in that heat. And Anthony Cleal would once again win Heat 3, this time followed home by Mike Bell. Russell O'Neill going up 11 spots into 3rd place ahead of Kevin O'Neill with a strong run into 4th. Nigel Vickery would trade his Gillard for a Tony car and he'll be in 5th spot ahead of Sarita Schoen and David Good. And the grid for the final, Anthony Cleal number 1 is going to lead us out, followed by Russell O'Neill and Sylvain Bessier. Paul Alexander would beat Nigel Vickery on tiebreak for 4th and 5th. They're both ahead of David Good. Then Sarita Schoen, Robin Stoddart-Stones, Kevin O'Neill, Mike Bell, Tom Parker, Kieran Quirk, Steve Groves and Ron Schoen all separated by 3 points, so very close in the midfield. Rob Mortimer and John Hartshorn in behind them, and the grid rounded out by number 44 Mark Cook. As we are rolling out onto the short rolling lap, it looks like some problems there for the number 13 of Robin Stoddart-Stones. He's been left on the grid, but he is now restarted and he'll go up through the cut-through, regain his position. So all should be good for Stoddart-Stones to take the start lights. As through the cut-through we go on the run up towards Hanger Bend. So now we're on board with Russell O'Neill. Him and Anthony Cleal are going to be slowing the pack down into the 2x2 rolling formation. Going to go straight through the chicane and underway at the lights this time by. They can see the pack taking shape. Robin Stoddart-Stones there coming up the middle to regain his grid spot, so he's back in position. All 17 karts present and correct as we are now heading through the chicane. Keep an eye on the lights. We're on board with Russell O'Neill. They're still red at the moment. And we are underway now. And it's a good start from Anthony Cleal. He's stolen the length. Sylvain Bessier out the inside as well. Nigel Vickery challenging Alexander. David Good round the outside. It's all to play for in the first bend, but it's Cleal leading. O'Neill and Bessier side by side into the complex, but Bessier is going to come out ahead. So it's Cleal, Bessier, O'Neill, Vickery, Alexander, Good, Schoen, Stoddart-Stones and Kevin O'Neill battling with Mike Bell. Kieran Quirk and Tom Parker side by side in behind. Now we're on board with Kevin O'Neill. And that's Mike Bell going to go up the inside, so a move for 9th spot. But Kevin O'Neill straight back on the attack of the number 4. Mike Bell's going to set off after Robin Stoddart-Stones is up towards the Hanger Bend for the first time. Round Hanger, it's Cleal still leading ahead of Bessier, then O'Neill, then a bit of a gap back to Vickery, then Alexander, Good and Schoen all in battle together. every other kart in the race in a big line in behind is now down to complete the first lap. Cleel with Vessier right on his bumper. O'Neill in a bit of a gap, and that's Sarita Shone going up the inside of David Good, so that's a change for 6th spot. Now we're on board with Russell O'Neill. Sylvain Vessier already challenging Anthony Cleel, looking to try and get past him and take the lead of the race. Sarita Shone attacking Paul Alexander likewise. Rob Mortimer on the back of Steve Groves as well. Now we're on board with Kevin O'Neill. He's now still on the back of Mike Bell, who's looking all over the shot, looking to try and get past Robin Stoddart-Stones, but to no avail. Now they go up towards Hangar once again. David Good in front looking at Paul Alexander. And out of Hangar, Anthony Cleel looks like he's got the run from Sylvain Vessier, but the slipstream is fairly strong. Into the chicane they go, first and second, starting to check out from O'Neill a little bit. As they go across the line to start the next lap. Cleel and Vessier, then O'Neill. That's Sarita Shone attacking Nigel Vickery, and Robin Stoddart-Stones has run wide. Through goes Bell, through goes O'Neill, through goes Parker and Quirk. Stoddart-Stones back on into the racing line. As around the complex they go. Sarita Shone still all over the back bumper of Nigel Vickery, as now we're on board with number 66, Rob Mortimer. Through goes Steve Groves on Robin Stoddart-Stones, and we're going to follow him through up the back straight. Meanwhile, now we're on board with Mike Bell. Up ahead of us, Sarita Shone attacking Nigel Vickery. And up ahead of us now, we're on board with Russell O'Neill. Sylvain Vessier right on the bumper of Anthony Cleel. The 3 of those karts starting to check out at the moment. Through the chicane they go. Vessier looking like he's trying to line up for the run for a move down into turn 1. Thinks better off it this time by, but you can see the intent is there from the number 29. Meanwhile, in behind, Sarita Shone looking to the inside of Vickery again. Alexander in there as well. Now we go round the complex. Vessier setting up for a good exit. And in behind, you got 8 karts as one there. As Vickery, Shone, Alexander, Good, Bell, O'Neill, Parker and Quirk all close enough you could roll the carpet over them. It's Kevin O'Neill now looking to the inside of Mike Bell, but to no avail. Bell looking at Good. Good looking at Alexander, and Alexander looking at Nigel Vickery and Sarita Shone as they're still battling hard. Meanwhile, for the lead, looks like Russell O'Neill is visibly a lot closer to Sylvain Vessier now. Through the chicane we go. Now down the straight, Vessier tucked into the slipstream of Anthony Cleel as best he can. Nothing doing into turn 1 there, but definitely these 3 looking like there is going to be a fight on their hands. As Vessier moves to the inside of the complex, he's going to send a move down the inside. They're going to bang wheels, and Vessier's going to take the lead. Russell O'Neill now trying to take advantage, and he goes side by side with Anthony Cleel. Looks like Cleel might have it back down the inside, but Sarita Shone has made a move, so too Mike Bell on David Good. Now it's 3 wide between Tom Parker, Kieran Quirk, and this man, Kevin O'Neill. O'Neill's holding it quite wide. There's Parker ahead, and there's Quirk, so both of them getting past the number 10. Kevin O'Neill now trying to fire back on the inside against Kieran Quirk as they're going to run up to Hangar. But on the way out of Hangar, it's Vessier leading from Cleel and O'Neill now. This gap has gotten even bigger back to Sarita Shone. Paul Alexander's also gone through on Nigel Vickery at some point this lap. But round pit bend they go. 1, 2, 3, as close as that. So now we're on board with Bell. Nigel Vickery there in the number 67. In his new Tony kart. He's hanging on against Mike Bell. The top 3 heading up the short back straight again. Then it's Shone starting to pull away from Alexander, who's pulling away from Vickery. Out on board with Bell looking to the inside, but Vickery definitely has a straight line speed edge. As they go up the back straight and round the loop. Back on board with O'Neill. Tom Parker there up ahead of us in the green helmet looking at the back of David Good. Now into the chicane, Russell O'Neill very close to Anthony Cleel. As he's going to set up for a run on the way out of the bend. He's going to close up along the straight, but not going to go for anything this lap. Maybe O'Neill's hoping that Cleel will attack Vessier. Now back on board with Bell, and we're going to attack Nigel Vickery up the inside. And Mike Bell makes the move. That's for 6th spot, as now he's going to go up towards the complex. No, Vickery's going to fight back. Nigel Vickery retakes the position as they're going to run side by side through the complex. Bell's going to try and hang on around the outside though, and that'll give him the run up the straight. David Good looking at the inside of Vickery as well now. Side by side in behind, that's Quirk and Parker, and Parker's going to slide wide. So the number 27 makes the move on the number 63, and now Kevin O'Neill looking to get stuck in. As they all head up up towards the hangar. In the red there is Mark Cook. He's being hunted down by Robin Stoddart Stones, who seems to have gotten over whatever problem he had earlier in the race. So back to the front. Vessier leading from Cleal and O'Neill. Now we're on board with O'Neill up towards the complex. This is where Vessier took the lead. Looks like he's got it fairly well covered against Anthony Cleal. But definitely looks like Vessier doesn't have the pace to check out, so that battle is going to go on for some time. Now back to the battle for 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th. And it's the train behind Vickery. David Good on the attack now. And Good looking to the inside against Vickery. Nothing happening there though. And now here comes Kieran Quirk on the exit. Quirk up the inside and O'Neill at the inside. Kieran Quirk makes the move on David Good, Kevin O'Neill and Tom Parker side by side, but Parker's going to stay with his nose in front. This battle definitely is not over. Now can Quirk attack Vickery? Can Good attack him back? Now for the lead, Vessier hanging on against Anthony Cleal. Russell O'Neill still keeping a watching brief in 3rd spot. As into the complex they go. 1, 2, 3, close as that. And up the straight, Vessier was defending there, feeling the need to go defensive. Tom Parker now looking at the outside of David Good. That's going to give O'Neill an opportunity. These 5 karts unable to break away from each other. Then in behind, Rob Mortimer all over the back of Steve Groves. Ron shown in there as well. Now we're on board with Bell. He's caught Paul Alexander, so that's a battle we're going to be on for 5th spot. As now back to the battle for the lead. Cleal gets a better run than Vessier through the chicane. Is he going to take advantage and move to the inside for turn 1? No, he's not. Vessier hanging on. Now we're back on board with Bell. Paul Alexander ahead of us. Bell looking to the inside. And Bell's going to go down the inside, but Paul Alexander's going to switch back across, and he's going to retake that 5th spot. Same with Kevin O'Neill and Tom Parker. Now we're on board with Rob Mortimer. He's going to run wide through turn 1 and through. That's number 11. That's Ron Schoen making the position. So good move from Schoen. And that's Bell up the inside of Alexander in the loop. Looks like Bell's made it, so that's 5th and 6th positions changing. Robin Stoddart Stones has gotten ahead of Mark Cook. They're being caught by the leaders as through the chicane we go. And out of the chicane, it's Vessier. Quick look over his shoulder. Cleal's not close enough. And now Cleal makes the move to the inside. And he's going to block Vessier in behind Mark Cook. Anthony Cleal takes the lead. Russell O'Neill's going to be up alongside into the complex, but Vessier defending from O'Neill. Fantastic piece of spatial awareness there from Anthony Cleal. He actually boxed Vessier in behind Mark Cook, so Vessier couldn't come back at him. As now the lead group goes past Robin Stoddart Stones. Anthony Cleal leading the race now. And there's Kieran Quirk all over the back of Nigel Vickery still. David Good still stuck in there as well, likewise with Parker and O'Neill. Then the group behind is Grove, Schoen and Mortimer. But down to the chicane, Cleal leads from Vessier. Russell O'Neill right behind still as they're going to come across the line one more time. That's the last lap board, so we have 1 lap to go here at Mansell. Anthony Cleal leads the way. Vessier and O'Neill right in his shadow. Down towards the complex. Through the right kink, through the long left. And it's going to open up in the long right. Vessier looking towards the inside, but to no avail. Really looking over his shoulder now. He knows O'Neill is there. They go around the end of the loop section. All keeping tight now as they go up towards Hangar. Looks like Cleal has the edge at the moment. And into Hangar Bend we go. Kart 1 versus Kart 29 versus Kart 3. Now on the run down towards the chicane. The final turn of the race. Can Vessier get the run? Looks like he will. Anthony Cleal though is going to cross the line and take the win. Jubilation for Cleal. Despondency for Vessier. And now we drop back to number 10, Kevin O'Neill. The racing is still not done. That's Kieran Quirk looking to the inside of Nigel Vickery. But Vickery's going to hold off on the way in. And on the way out, Vickery's going to cover the inside. So Vickery's going to get 7th ahead of Quirk. And now we're on board with Rob Mortimer. He's tailing Ron Schoen. And Schoen's going to run on Steve Groves. It's going to be too little too late. Groves is going to hold off Schoen and Mortimer. And then John Hartshaw in the number 90 going to be the last kart across the line on the lead lap. What a race. And after Parc Fermé, the results will stand. It's Anthony Cleal takes the win by only a quarter of a second from Sylvain Vessier. Russell O'Neill only half a second off the lead himself. Sarita Schoen, the number 2, is going to move up to 4th ahead of Mike Bell, with Paul Alexander, Nigel Vickery, Kieran Quirk, David Good and Tom Parker running at the top 10. Kevin O'Neill just missing out in 11th spot ahead of Steve Groves, with Ron Schoen, Rob Mortimer and John Hartshorn finishing in the top 15, with Mark Cook and Robin Stoddart-Stones both finishing a lap down. Wow, what a race as the drivers coming in off the circuit now. What that will do to the championship standings, Anthony Cleal is going to extend his lead at the top of the table, this time from Russell O'Neill, with Mike Bell in 3rd. Sarita Schoen is going to move up to 4th ahead of Sylvain Vessier and Kieran Quirk. Paul Alexander into 7th ahead of David Good. Kevin O'Neill and Steve Groves going to round out the top 10. Rob Mortimer, Robin Stoddart-Stones, Ron Schoen, Tom Parker and John Hartshorn's going to make up the top 15. They're going to be ahead of Nigel Vickery, Billy Thomas, David and Taylor Waldron, with Chris Underhill completing the top 20. There's Vickery, Quirk, Good, Parker and O'Neill. They had a fantastic duel. In the Blue Masters standings, Anthony Cleal is going to extend his lead once again, this time from Russell O'Neill. Paul Alexander in 3rd ahead of David Good and Steve Groves, with Rob Mortimer, Kevin O'Neill, Ron Schoen, Robin Stoddart-Stones and John Hartshorn completing the top 10. They're going to be ahead of Billy Thomas, Nigel Vickery, David Waldron, Chris Underhill and Phil Shears. In the Blue Veteran standing, it's Anthony Cleal once again with a maximum score ahead of Paul Alexander and David Good. Steve Groves is going to move up into 4th ahead of Kevin O'Neill, Rob Mortimer, Ron Schoen, Robin Stoddart-Stones, John Hartshorn and David Waldron is going to hang on to 10th. They're going to be ahead of Nigel Vickery and Chris Underhill. And in the Blue Legend standing, it's David Good who catapults himself to the top of the table. Going to be ahead of a 3-way tie ahead of Kevin O'Neill, Ron Schoen and Robin Stoddart-Stones. And in the Blue Top Weights is Ron Schoen who take the win on the day to take the lead of the championship ahead of Rob Mortimer. Billy Thomas going to hold off in 3rd ahead of Phil Shears and Mark Cook. That's going to be all for today from Mansell Raceway. The next time the Formula Blue is going to be out is for the NKRA Grand Finals from Clay Pigeon, so keep an eye out for that one. We shall see you soon. Goodbye.